The resignation has sent shockwaves through ANC's inner workings as much as it has revealed how exposed the ruling party has become under the leadership of Sir Ramaphosa. The once unifying leader is now regarded by many as a wedge driver. To some, he is the last hope for change and rebirth of a party that has lost its bearings. To others, he is a symbol of hypocrisy and political posturing. Pundits observe that Ramaphosa's term of office, which started amid vows to be transparent, fight corruption, and boost the economy, is now marred by scandal, internal conflict, and a credibility crisis so acute that even his stronger supporters are now distancing themselves. Various ANC branches, especially in KwaZulu-Natal and the Eastern Cape, have started showing public discontent with the president's leadership, blaming him for partiality towards some provincial structures at the expense of others. This provincial split is expanding as Ramaphosa's inner circle itself becomes more insular, depending on a dwindling pool of trusted loyalists to guide government policy and the public narrative. Dissenting voices inside the party say they have been kept in the dark regarding important decision-making and intimidated politically whenever they voice legitimate concerns. It's the same atmosphere in Parliament. More ANC MPs are said to be in deliberation, debating whether or not to stick up for a president whose popularity is sinking through the floor. Some fear political suicide if they stay on side with Ramaphosa as the overwhelming majority of the public turns against him. "We are all waiting to see what happens," one ANC backbencher said. "The public are furious. They are seeing through the illusion. If this keeps going, we stand to lose our majority come the next election." Actually, Ramaphosa's political fate might now rest on two key battlefronts, legal and electoral. On a legal front, his destiny lies in whether the National Prosecuting Authority, NPA, initiates formal charges related to the failure farm scandal or other probes into misappropriation of state funds. Although charges have yet to be laid, the mounting heap of court findings, coupled with the incriminating High Court judgment only weeks before, places immense pressure on the NPA to move, particularly since public watchdog bodies and civic society entities continue to lodge motions calling for criminal responsibility. Election-wise, the ANC is faced with the prospect of an unprecedented decline in popularity. At municipal polls, the party fell below 50% for the first time in democratic South Africa. With parliamentary elections on the horizon, posters warn that if the present leadership impasse persists, the ANC may be compelled into an unprecedented coalition government since 1994. This would fundamentally change the nation's politics and render the ANC powerless to rule unilaterally. Opposition parties noticed this weakness and are now mobilizing their strongholds with a new sense of urgency, campaigning not only against the ANC but against Ramaphosa himself, denouncing him as the designer of the party's downfall. Street protests are feeding this fire. In Gauteng, Western Cape, and some parts of Limpopo, impromptu demonstrations broke out with protesters carrying placards that said, "We demand justice. Ramaphosa must go. Clean government now." Civil society groups like OUTA, Corruption Watch, and the Helen Suzman Foundation have made strongly worded statements calling on the government to end the shielding of influential individuals and begin upholding the rule of law. These factions are now campaigning for an independent commission to run all outstanding investigations against top officials, a step that would essentially curtail Ramaphosa's powers to manipulate the political agenda or delay inquiries through administrative obstruction. In the meantime, the business sector is increasingly restless. Domestic and foreign investors are monitoring South Africa's instability with growing dismay. The rand has also experienced heightened volatility, dropping sharply following every significant disclosure related to the scandal. A number of ratings agencies have indicated potential downgrades should governance not improve soon and firmly. Ramaphosa, who initially relied on his pro-business persona to calm markets and draw foreign investment, now presents himself with doubt in the eyes of both financial analysts and corporate executives. The media also has not been shy in applying the pressure. Investigative reporters have continued to come up with documents, leaked messages, and secret memos revealing a trend of cover-ups, executive abuse of power, and political meddling. Headlines every day with words such as State Capture 2.0 and Ramaphosa's shadow presidency are quick to change public opinion. This sustained media attention has increasingly become difficult for the administration to avoid, particularly now that journalists are not only targeting Ramaphosa but also his whole cabinet. This has fostered a culture of fear within government ministries. Whistleblowers and bureaucrats mention that there is a culture of paranoia in which voicing opposition is rebellionism and silence is rewarded. Morale within the important ministries, particularly finance, energy, and security, is lower than ever before, according to a number of reports. There are even some officials contemplating early retirement or switching allegiance to other political parties for fear that they will be next on the hit list in an ongoing pattern of high-level purges and political scapegoating. On the street level, South Africans are increasingly disenchanted with their government. Each day's woes of rampant joblessness, food price inflation, inconsistent electricity supply, and eroding health and educational systems have added to public outrage. More than a few citizens feel a strong sense of betrayal, not only of Ramaphosa, but of the ANC as an institution. We voted for change. We got better corruption. Nice face though, declared one Cape Town resident during a televised protest. As the ANC gears up for its next elective conference, the stakes have never been higher. Various factions are said to be lobbying in the shadows to remove Ramaphosa ahead of the next national election, citing that his continued tenure may cost the party everything. Names like Paul Moshetel, Zweli Mokis, and Lindai Sulu are being kicked around as potential successors, each with their own baggage and allegiances, but all being considered possible alternatives to the current set of circumstances. If Ramaphosa is pushed out, it could trigger a massive reshuffling of the ANC's top brass and set off a political domino effect that would alter the balance of power in South African politics for years to come. In the end, the most pressing question may not be about the fate of one minister or even of Cyril Ramaphosa himself. It is about the future trajectory of a nation on the brink of political change. Will South Africa at last end the cycle of impunity and restore confidence in democratic institutions? Or will it persist along a path where resignations are employed as shields and real power goes unchallenged? For millions of citizens, the answer can't arrive soon enough.